In this lesson, we will be using technology, graphing calculators, to find the determinants and to use Cramer's rule to work with matrices. This video you're going to find is going to be a lot more self-directed. You're going to be looking at the notes and reading those a lot more, as they will give you more instructions since I can't show you the screen of the calculator on the video. You're going to plan on pausing this video frequently so that you'll be able to get the answers to the questions. Press play when you're ready to move on and check your answers. If you do get stuck, please see Mrs. Bench for help, and there's also numerous places you can search on the web to find help with graphing calculators. I will be using TI-84, very similar to TI-83 and 82s, which you've used in class before. Okay, on your notes at the very top it says that matrix A is this matrix right here, the 3, 2, negative 1, 4. And we are going to first enter this into our graphing calculator, so the steps are there. So when it says second, and then it has this little arrow, and it says matrix, and then it has a little arrow, and then edit, and then a little arrow, and then it says 1, and then it has this little bracket. What this is telling you to do is it's telling you what you're going to be typing in the calculator. So when it says second, that's the key, and if you look on your notes, it's got arrows to where you need to be looking. The matrix button is going to be above the button that says x to the negative 1 power. After you've hit the matrix key, then you're going to see edit along the top of your screen, and then the very first choice will say 1 colon and then this A, and that's telling the calculator that you want to edit the matrix called matrix A. And then the next thing is you're going to tell it the dimensions, and so because this is a 2 by 2 matrix, we need to tell the calculator a 2 by 2, so it will make space for that. So once you've done that in your calculator, then go ahead and press play. Right now you want to press pause. When you're typing in the 2 by 2, you can either type in a 2 and then enter and then another 2, or you can do 2 and then use your right arrow key to do the other 2. And then as you keep going on, it will take you, and you'll see spaces appear below that will make room for that matrix. So if you were to say a 3 by 3, it would make space for a 3 by 3 matrix. So you should be able to see that it's making spaces for your 2 by 2 matrix. And then you'll go ahead and enter the numbers in your calculator, 3, and you can say enter, and then 2, enter, negative 1, enter, 4, enter. So once you've got that in there, then the calculator sees that as matrix A, and then you'll do second and then quit, and that will take you back to your home screen. Okay, hopefully you remember that before we have learned how to find the determinant of a matrix, and so if you remember, we would do that by doing 3 times 4 and subtract the next product, negative 1 times 2. And so we'd have 12 minus negative 2, so that'd be 14. We're going to have the calculator do this for us now. And so to do that, the steps on your page are spelled out, and it says about the 4th paragraph down, it says to find the determinant, you're going to do second and then the matrix key. And so you're going to hit this matrix key a lot here. And then you're going to go to the math menu. So along the top before edit, it's going to say math. And the very first thing it's going to say is 1 colon and DET, and that stands for determinant. Since that's what you want, we're going to then press enter. And then on your home screen it's going to say DET, and I've got a picture on your paper of how that will look, and it gives you a parentheses. Now we need to tell the calculator the determinant of what matrix. So again, as it says on your paper, you're going to do second and then matrix again, and then you're going to choose where it says name. You're going to choose the name of matrix A, because that's what we want the determinant of. So after you hit enter there, as it says on your paper, you're going to see this on your screen. So that's what it will say. You'll have to close that parenthesis right there. It doesn't really matter if you do or not. Then when you hit enter again, it will give you the determinant, and so you should see 14 appear. So if you've got that, then you can go ahead and write that down where it says determinant of A, and then we'll go on to the next example. If you didn't get that, then you need to seek some help or try it again. Okay, example number 1, it says find the determinant of the matrix. So first remember that you need to enter this matrix, and so you're going to go through those steps again, and you can call this matrix A. You can just keep renaming matrix A. So we're just going to, type that in again. You have to tell it it's a 2 by 2. It should already be there because that's what we did last time. And just enter it in your calculator, and then go through the same steps where you make it say determinant, and then I'll say you tell it matrix A. So you might have to pause this and go through that again, and make sure you understand those steps. You'll have to do that yourself. When you get done, the answer should be 30. You can see that we can work that out by hand. With a 2 by 2 matrix, it's very easy to do it by hand, but you want to make sure that you know how to do it with your calculator because we're going to do some bigger matrices in just a minute. So once you've got that answer, then you're ready to move on. Okay, in the last packet, you learned how to use Cramer's rule to solve a system of equations, and so just to review that, the first thing you do is you take the coefficients and you're going to make a matrix from that, and you're going to find the determinant of that. So you're going to do 5 times 5, which is 25, and subtract 2 times negative 3. So we're going to do 25 subtract negative 6, so it's going to be 31. And so that's the determinant of your coefficient matrix. The next step that you're going to do is you are going to write a new matrix, but instead of the 5 and the 2, we're going to put our constants, and then negative 3 and 5, and so then you're going to find the determinant of that. So you're going to do 6 times 5, subtract, and then negative 10 times negative 3. So 30 minus, and negative 10 times negative 3 is 30, so it's 0. And then if you remember, to find x, then we're going to do 0 divided by 31, which is 0. And so that will be what x is. Then to find y, hopefully you remember that, you're going to now put the 5 and the 2 back, but instead of negative 3 and 5, you're going to do 6 and 10 there. So you do the determinant there. So 5 times 10 is 50, subtract, and then 2 times 6, so 50 subtract 12 is going to be, whoops, we need to have a negative 10 right there. So it's going to be negative 50 minus 12, and that's negative 62. And so to find y, you're going to do negative 62 divided by 31, and that's equal to negative 2. And so that's your solution. And so we've written that before as ordered pairs, 0 and negative 2, and you can check that as you have before and make sure that that's the right answer. Okay, at this point, now we're going to see what we can use the calculator for. To find the determinant of a 3 by 3 matrix, that is much more difficult without a calculator, and so we're going to learn how to do that at a later time, but right now we're going to use the calculator to do Cramer's rule. You're going to do this the very same way that we did before, but we're going to use the calculator and its determinant to be able to do this. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I need to take my coefficient matrix, and I'm going to write that down. So on your paper you can see that you can write that. There's a little space. Notice that there's no y right there, and so I need to put a 0 and then a 1 right there, and then so make sure if you have no coefficient, you have to put a 0 there. Now this is what we want the calculator to find the determinant of. So you need to go in your calculator, you need to enter as matrix A, a 3 by 3 matrix, and then you're going to type in all of these entries. Now if you get just one single entry wrong, it's going to have the wrong answer and everything will be wrong, so be very careful and double check that that's what you do. Remember, you can use your left and right arrows to go back and forth, and your up and down arrows to go up and down throughout your matrix in case you make a mistake and need to correct it. So once you have that matrix entered in your calculator, then continue this video. You're now going to have the calculator find the determinant of matrix A, and so go ahead and put that in your calculator, and the answer should be negative 2. So after you get that answer, then you can continue. To solve for x, we are going to enter into our calculator our matrix, except instead of the x's, we're going to put in the constants. So 1, 4, and 4. And then we've got the negative 1, 0, and 1, and the 1, 2, 1. So you're going to go back into matrix A, you're going to edit it again, and you're just going to change out these values so that this is what matrix A looks like. Then you're going to tell the calculator to do the determinant of A. Now I'm going to give you a little shortcut. Instead of having to retype determinant of A every single time you do this, if you do second and then enter, it will bring back the previous entry that you put in your calculator, and you can keep doing that and pull back previous entries so you don't have to keep retyping the same thing, and that's especially good if you have to go through a lot of menus to get there. So when you have the calculator do the determinant of A again, this time for this one you should get -2, and so x will be -2 divided by -2, and so that's going to be 1. Okay, now to find our y, we're going to take our matrix, we're going to put the 2 and 2 and 1 back, but instead of the y's we're going to put our constants. And then this is going to be our matrix A now. And so again, do second enter and have the calculator find the determinant of our new A. And when you do that, you should get -4. And so now y is equal to -4 divided by -2, which is +2. So make sure you've got that answer and you understand. If not, go back, pause, go over it again, and make sure that you're getting the right answer. Okay, the last one, to find z, we're going to put our 2, 2, 1, our -1, 0, 1, and then instead of z's we'll put 1, 4, 4. And that's going to be our new matrix A. So again, have the calculator find the determinant of A. For this one, you should get 2, and so, -2. And so then z is going to equal -2 over -2, and so that's going to equal 1. So what all of this means is, this means that for our system of equations, x is equal to 1, y is equal to 2, and z is equal to 1. Now remember that you can check your answers by plugging in, and it has to work in every equation. So you can do this simply with your calculator. I'm just going to write down what you would type. 2 times 1, 1, minus 2 plus 1, and when you put that in your calculator, do it yourself, it's equal to 1, so that one works. Then I'm going to do 2 times 1, there's no y, so I'm not going to do anything for that, and then plus 2 times z, and so that's going to equal 4, and that's true. And then x plus y plus z, and that's equal to 4, and that's true. So you've checked that. Now throughout your notes and throughout your homework, I have put a little box, and when you put a check in that box, you are telling me that you're guaranteeing that your answer is right because you have checked that. There shouldn't be any reason why you're getting a wrong answer, because if you are, don't check the box. So I just said that if you check that and it's not actually right, you're going to have to pay me $5 for every time. So make sure you have checked that and double checked. Make sure you're not putting wrong answers. Okay, for this video, the last example we're going to do is we're going to do one more. And so I want you to pause this video. You are going to enter all of the information and find, using Cramer's rule, and the determinants, you're going to find x, y, and z. And so I will go through that really fast in just a few minutes after you pause this and have a chance to work through it and get your answers, and you check it, make sure you're right, and then really fast I'll tell you what the answers are. Okay, I've set out how you do all of these and what you should enter into your calculator. So you need the determinant matrix, or the determinant of the coefficient matrix first, and that's what you use for all of your denominators. And then you're going to take one at a time and just in turn call this one matrix A, and then you'll call the second one matrix A, and you can just keep using those same matrices so that you can just keep pulling back the same entry, and that makes it a lot easier to do. The answers are x equals 2, y equals -3, and z equals 1. So if any of those are wrong, go back and look at the matrix that you entered, try it again, make sure that you get it right. Right now we're just going to write our answers just like this. You don't have to do anything else, you can just write it like that. And then make sure that you check your answers and that you're being responsible to make sure that you're getting that right. And please come and see me if you need any help.